Hi, my name's Alison and welcome to my first video. I wanted to talk a little bit today about Valentine's Day because it's February now and Valentine's Day is coming up. It's in a couple days and I've just been thinking a lot about the impact that it has on the environment, and not just that, but mainly that, but also its impact on us and how much we spend on it as a holiday, and how it's been so affected by social media and big companies and organizations marketing it to us in a specific way, and how it's really changed over time. So yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot and I just wanted to talk about it. So if you stick around to listen, thank you, and if not, I'm sorry. Anyway, so I wanted to start by talking a little bit about what I learned is called obligatory consumerism. And maybe I sound dumb right now because I hadn't really heard of it except for recently, or semi-recently, in the context of Valentine's Day and holidays like that. And basically, if you're like me and you didn't know what it is, then it's basically what it sounds like. It is the way that you're made to feel like you have to participate in buying loads of different stuff, or buying new things, or buying gifts for other people just because it's a holiday. But essentially, it's something that is really prevalent in holidays like Valentine's Day. So that's the idea behind obligatory consumerism. And I just found it so interesting, the idea that, one, that there's a name for it, because I just find that so interesting. And two, just the fact that it exists, the fact that we're being made to feel like we have to do something or buy something specific to express love to the people in our lives. How did we come from a holiday that is meant to celebrate love to a holiday that you need to buy flowers and chocolates and presents and go out and do all these things to show that you love someone? Obviously, it's nice to show that you love someone through like all these different ways. If gift giving is your love language, then give them gifts. I don't know. It's nice to show love and to be shown love in different ways, and that's normal, that's completely fine. The thing that makes it a bit more complicated is the way that it's being marketed to us. You see it a lot on social media where there are just so many posts showing Valentine's Day themed things, Valentine's Day themed hauls, like setting up for Valentine's Day, all these heart-shaped things, pink things that I got from my kitchen to make it pretty and nice, and that's really cute. It is cute. I love those videos. But you just have to think of how many people are doing that, where they're getting it from, where the shops are getting it from, where they're sourcing their things, where they're shipping it from, and everything that goes into making the things that you see in the videos. And it's just it's a much deeper process than I think we realize. And the thing with social media is that it is the job of influencers to sell you things. And it's so prevalent in our lives now that it's just impossible to avoid. You can't not come across products that change my life, videos, Amazon hauls, Shein hauls, and things like that. And now de-influencing is becoming a bigger thing, so that's fun, but that's a different subject. And I'm getting distracted again, but it's the culture of social media these days and all of the massive hauls that people are doing, and the ideologies going around which make you feel that if your significant other isn't doing X that they don't love you, and whatever they're doing now is not enough. And obviously that is something to unpack if you feel that way, and it's not my place to tell you whether your significant other is doing enough for you or not. I'm not gonna go down this path because it's giving relationship therapy and that's not my jurisdiction. But it's just something to think about. Do you actually need the things that you're being shown online, the products that you're being shown? And is your significant other really not doing enough? If you feel that way, you should probably unpack that and not just take the things that you see online at face value. You're allowed to want things that you see online. It's only natural, and we're all susceptible to it. We're all consuming that media, and at one point or another you're gonna say, that's really cute, I want that. And you can buy it because you can do what you want. But it's the masses of things that you're buying, the things that are single use, the things that you will probably just put in storage and forget exist. I have things like that. Everyone has things like that, and it's okay to, but we're coming to a point where we need to be mindful of those things, because not only does it impact the environment, but also you don't need it. And then looking away from social media, you have the shops themselves, which are, I mean, it's nothing new. They're always pumping out new products to sell you. They're always going to be looking at the holidays, seeing what's trending, and then using that to market their products to their audience. And they do it really well, and they do it really quickly. And it is something that, I mean, it also ties into the social media stuff, because it goes on social media and it becomes like a cycle, because you see it in the shop. Someone will see it in a shop, post it on social media, and you'll see it on social media and then go to that shop. Oftentimes a shop will drop a new collection and people will start posting online, run to this shop because look at all the cute things they have, look at all the cute things I bought. And then people do, and it makes sense because the things are cute. A recent example is Tiger, or Flying Tiger, whatever you call it. They dropped their Valentine's Day stuff and it is adorable, and I saw it on TikTok and I said, that is so cute. And I'm so in love with the aesthetic of Valentine's Day. I love pink things, I love heart-shaped things, and so it's really easy to get trapped in, or like sucked in by Valentine's Day themed things. So when Tiger drops all these cute mugs and cups and decorations, and I don't even remember what else there was because I was just like, don't look. It's hard. These stores know their audiences really well, and they will use opportunities like Valentine's Day to market things to you and to say, oh, did you forget to get your significant other something for Valentine's Day? Here you go. Or, oh, you know what would be really cute is if you like did a whole Valentine's Day thing and you made everything pretty, and look, we have the products for you to do that. Or just like, do you want a Valentine's Day themed cup? Here you go. And it's so, I mean, Valentine's Day is one thing because things are mainly heart-shaped, and like I said, I love heart-shaped things. I would use them year-round. But it reminds me of like around Halloween and Christmas, I know lots of different stores will do Christmas themed or Halloween themed mugs, and the mugs are always what get me, because yes, they're reusable, and yeah, you can use it all year round, and some people might, but some people don't. So you're gonna buy a little pumpkin mug, which is super cute, and then leave it in your shelf for a year, which is fine. I keep saying things and then saying it's fine. It is fine. It's just the accumulation of all of these things and all of the things that everyone is buying and all of the things that people aren't buying but still exist because they're made to be sold, and then sometimes they're not sold. Then where do they go? They go to the bin and no one sees them. And then that happens a lot with a lot of things. So it's not just consumers that need to be mindful, but they're the ones that can control their actions. I mean, obviously big companies can control their actions, but they want money, so they're gonna make more things and market them to you and sell them, because that's the point of them, is to make money by selling services and selling products. So it's the consumers who can control their spending on those products, and it's the consumers that actually have the power to drive the production of said products, because they use trends and they use data and they analyze what's going on with their audience. What can we push out to make people buy our stuff? And so if we spend a lot of money on a specific product, say like people know that people want themed mugs, then they're gonna make the themed mugs. Like, it only makes sense. But it's just when it all adds up, because one person's actions may not seem significant, but it's when you look at it on a bigger scale where everything goes, and like I said, where everything goes when it's not sold. And that brings me to spending. We spend so much money on Valentine's Day and just the holidays in general, doing decorations, buying gifts for other people, just buying cute little things. And it's really sweet, and I am guilty of that. I wouldn't even say guilty, because it's not necessarily a bad thing. You're allowed to want to have a nice space to live in, and if decorating makes you happy, then by all means. But it's just that the amount that we're spending on holidays and things that, particularly things that aren't gonna be used further than one day or maybe a week or something, it's I don't know why so much money goes into this holiday. But here's a little graph that I found, and it shows you the amount that this is in the US. It shows you the amount that people spent in the US over time, and obviously there's a little blip in 2020 because of the pandemic, and that makes sense, that's just to be expected. But 2021 to 2023, growth. And I just find it so interesting. What is it that's making people spend more money every year on this holiday? And I did read that spending went down for Valentine's Day in the UK in 2023, which was a result of the cost of living crisis, which I thought was really interesting. But I do think that generally the world spends a lot of money on Valentine's Day, and I'm not gonna speak that much on it, but I will say that this is a personal thing, really, sort of in conjunction with the cost of living crisis and just trying to sort of figure out my own personal finances. I've just started sort of getting used to managing my money better, and that is something that I noticed, is that my spending on things that I saw online, or my spending on things because it was marketed to me a certain way, was unnecessary. And that's a personal thing that is part of what caused me to make this video, because I know how easy it is to want to buy all those things, and I just think that it's a case of choosing what you want to spend your money on. That's all I can really talk about. Obviously, there's this little graph, which is cute, and it shows you a lot about what we're doing as a society. Obviously, this is the US, and I am not included in that society. But the only thing I can really talk about is personal choices. And I just think that, it's in my best interest to be mindful of the way that I spend my money in times like this, not just because of the cost of living crisis, but during times when so many products are being marketed to us every single day. It's in my personal interest to be mindful of what I choose to spend my money on. Just thinking about it recently has really made me reflect on how much money I spend on what, because I love giving gifts, and so it's really easy for me during the holidays, during Christmas and like Valentine's Day, for me to think this would be so cute if I bought this and to give this as a gift for someone. And just reflecting on what I choose to spend my money on and how I can give gifts to people that I love without necessarily spending as much money, and sometimes that can make it more meaningful. I just think it comes back to that consumerist mindset of putting a lot of your money towards something that you didn't think you needed until you saw an ad for it online, or until you saw it in an influencer's Get Ready With Me or an influencer's haul video. You didn't need it in your life, and you didn't want it in your life. And obviously, once in a while, it's fine to see something and think, oh, I want that, I really would like that, and then buy it. You are free to do what you want, so long as it's legal and safe. But the thing is, it's not just impacting us financially, because at the end of the day, like I said, you choose what you want to do with your money. And if you can afford to buy all the gifts that you want to give your significant other or your friends and your family, then, like, who am I to tell you what to do? The thing is, maybe you can afford it, but I'm not sure that we can afford the damage that it does to the environment. And maybe that's a bit deep, but it's real. And let me get into why. I have a list of things that are commonly bought for Valentine's Day, and I just want to sort of go into the environmental impact of each of those things and talk about the alternatives. Something that you can do to have a bit more of a sustainable holiday. So the first obvious one is chocolate. It's a big thing on Valentine's Day to get your loved ones chocolate, and it's really sweet. It is really sweet. Chocolate and flowers, classic. The thing is, the chocolate industry has a history of child labor and slavery, and that's not news to anyone. That's not an environmental point. I just thought I'd remind you, because sometimes I feel like we need a reminder. Not just that, but the chocolate industry also contributes massively to biodiversity loss and deforestation and the use of fossil fuels. And not just that, but also palm oil is still commonly used in the process of making chocolate. And I don't know if you know, but palm oil is not good to have in your chocolate or anything, really. We need to be more conscious of the products that we're consuming and where they come from. Some companies are not as good at maintaining sustainable production practices, sustainable labor environments, and it leads to a wide variety of environmental issues, and the impact is not something that should be swept under the rug. Some alternatives, though, are vegan chocolates, fair trade chocolates. It's easy for people to seek comfort in the brands that they know and the brands that they know that they like. But the thing is, why not try something new? Valentine's Day is one day of the year. Choose a fair trade chocolate. Choose a vegan fair trade chocolate and see if you like it. See if your partner likes it. See if your friends like it. The thing is, there are alternatives. Not all chocolate has this massive environmental impact, or like as significant of an environmental impact. A lot of people are doing really good work to make these alternatives available and accessible for people. So yeah, that's an option. The other thing is flowers. It's really easy to forget about the environmental impact of buying flowers. Take roses, for example. Obviously, it's Valentine's Day, red roses are a staple. Red roses don't flower in the UK in February. They flower abroad, in warmer places. And they flower in the UK in summer at some point. I think late spring, early summer, they flower here. So, in order to get roses to the UK, you have to grow them abroad and then not ship them, fly them to the UK to preserve because they're gonna die if you ship them because it'll take too long. So fly them to the UK and to the US, to wherever, and then keep them in maintain them, and I think it's like an air-conditioned thing that you keep the flowers in. That is insane. Think of the carbon footprint of your flowers because they had to be flown here on an airplane. I just think it's interesting. And I think it's really easy to forget as well because people think, oh, flowers, it's like fun, it's green, it's plants. What can be the harm in some roses, some flowers? That's the harm. Imagine the amount of flowers that are shipped to the UK just for Valentine's Day. My point is that flowers have a much bigger environmental impact than one might think. And so, here are my ideas, or not even my ideas, but like alternatives that you can do. Also, side note, not about environmental stuff particularly, but a lot of people have allergies and hay fever and stuff like that. So an alternative might be better in that sense anyway. Possible alternatives to buying imported flowers would be, the most obvious one is to buy locally. So just check where your flowers are grown, go to a local store and buy from them instead. You can also just pick flowers off the side of the road. Like some people might not like that. I would love that. Like that, I feel like that's so cute. Obviously, pick flowers that you're allowed to pick. But I find that it's so cute. Like, just that you saw flowers and you thought, oh, I should give this to my significant other, I should give this to my friend, or anything. That's so sweet that you got that yourself for them. That's so cute. Or yeah, locally grown flowers, independently sold, I think would be really sweet. Because also they often have they think a lot more, and this is true of any independently owned business. They put a lot more thought into making the experience good for the buyer. So I just think it's nicer to shop independently anyway, and it's better for the environment, obviously. There are other things you can do as well, like if your partner has hay fever or allergies or anything like that, you could make them flowers. Like if you're into crafts and stuff, you can do crochet flowers. I've seen that before, they're really cute. Origami flowers are really easy, and you also get a sense of satisfaction out of it when you've done it, because obviously you've put effort into making something for them. You know what I mean? So I think it just makes it a little bit more, handmade things are so much more, or can be so much more personal, and in my experience people just really appreciate that you took the time to make them something. And I think that goes for anyone, or most people at least, that the thought of you putting the time aside to sit down and make something expressly for this person, it just means so much. Because anyone can stop by a store and pick something up and not really think about where it's from or things like that. And that's not to say that it's not still nice. Like, obviously it's still nice just to get something, but that little extra bit of effort is so cute. And something like an origami flower or a crochet flower or something like that, the Lego flowers, they're gonna last so much longer. Or dried flowers could be cute. They last so much longer than flowers that are just gonna die in the vase. And obviously those flowers are still nice. I still like to get them, and I will often save them and dry them, or press one of the flowers and put it in my scrapbook. So that's also really cute, like a little cute activity to do. But yeah, so those are my thoughts on flowers. Another thing that's very common in Valentine's Day gifts and stuff like that, something that comes to mind is cards, especially glittery cards and balloons. Those are things, not even glittery cards, but like glitter, anything that's glittery, or plastic, and like single-use things. The thing with things like that is that they are essentially single-use and will just be thrown away. And to have something like that made for a specific holiday creates a lot of waste. So that's something to also think about, because in addition to the waste, glitter and balloons contribute so much to plastic pollution and microplastics entering our environment. So that's something to definitely consider when you're doing your shopping this year or next year or ever in the future, is to be mindful of that. And certain cards are more recyclable than others, and some cards are more compostable than others. So it's a really easy switch, actually, when you think about it. All of these are really easy switches. You can buy biodegradable cards. I've gotten them in the past because my friends and family know that I am very into sustainability and stuff. So I've received biodegradable cards from people, and even though I don't throw them out, I know that when they eventually end up in the waste system, they'll be able to biodegrade. And aside from that, you can also do handmade cards. You can personalize it. You can use whatever you have at home. So you don't have to go out and buy a card. You can use what you have at home without going to buy supplies that you didn't already have. Take some paper that you already have, take a couple pens, do a little drawing, do a little heart on the front, and then write a heartfelt message inside. I think that is quite meaningful. And then on the glitter side of things, and the microplastic side of things, and the balloons and all of that, maybe just don't buy them. I feel like it's not necessary. It's not something that's integral to Valentine's Day as a holiday. It can be fun, but it is in the long term very damaging to the environment. And yeah, balloons end up everywhere and plastic ends up everywhere, and it's easy to forget about, but it has to go somewhere, especially if the balloons fly away. It's kind of like an out of sight, out of mind situation, but it goes somewhere and you don't know where it's gone. I would just personally avoid things like glitter and plastic single-use items because there are always alternatives and you can always figure something out at home. I just think it's really nice to put that extra bit of thought into what you're doing to celebrate Valentine's Day, because at the end of the day, the purpose of the holiday is to celebrate your loved ones. And there are lots of options, and I thought it would be fun to go through like the different love languages and kind of give sort of ideas of how you can do that sustainably. For example, gift giving is the obvious one. My main thing for gift giving, I would say, is to just really try to get something for them that they're actually going to use. Don't get them something that they're just going to put in a drawer somewhere and not really look at. If it's something of a real sentimental value, then that's different. But it's really easy in a holiday like Valentine's Day to fall into getting presents that feel more superficial, and things like chocolate and flowers. Not to say that chocolate and flowers are superficial, but the chocolates are going to be gone after a couple days, and the flowers are going to be gone after a week or two. And so to get something, maybe in addition to that, you can still get them chocolates and flowers and stuff, but you can also get them something that they need, or something that they've been wanting for a really long time that you know that they're going to use. And then maybe if your partner is an acts of service person, you could do something for them. You could make them dinner, is one option that springs to mind. I think that they would really appreciate that. And then again, that's an instance of you taking the time to do something for them, make something for them, and then you can eat dinner together. Like, I just think that's so nice. Another thing in terms of like on the side of cooking them dinner, you could also bake them something. I love baking. People love baking. People love baked goods. And then you've put the time into doing that for them. That's so cute. If you feel like that words of affirmation is the best way for you to express your love to someone, or if they're a words of affirmation person, then you could write them a heartfelt card or letter, especially if it's handmade. Another idea I find really cute is like leaving little post-it notes with like little messages, short messages, I love you, and like leave it for places for them to find. If they're a quality time type of person, then you could take the time to plan a date for the two of you. Take it upon yourself to be like, this is what would be nice if we went out and had this date. You take the responsibility to plan the date, sort everything out, book everything, and then you go and do that together. It could be a meal, it could be an activity. You could even do it at home. Do something like have a painting night, or you could, like I said, you could cook dinner for them before as the acts of service thing. You could cook dinner together, or you could bake together. Just planning something for the two of you to do together, spend that quality time together. And then physical touch is a difficult one, but it's pretty easy to cover, I would say. Just give them a hug or something. Give them just give them a hug. Give them a massage or something. You could do those, you know, people make those homemade coupons that's like good for one massage or something like that. You could do that. I think that would be cute. I would never do that, but you could, if that's what you're into or what they would appreciate. If you think they would appreciate it, then that could be really cute. Anyway, my point of all that is to just highlight that it's not that hard to celebrate Valentine's Day in a meaningful way that is still true to the holiday, but not as wasteful as it can be, because Valentine's Day generates a lot of waste, and it doesn't have to, and you can minimize your contributions to that waste. And that's what I'm gonna be doing pretty much from now on, as much as I can, or at least be more conscious of it. I just think that it is important for us to remember what we're really celebrating when we celebrate a holiday like Valentine's Day. You're celebrating your friendships and your relationships and how much these people mean to you. And that's really valuable, and that's so special. And so just remember that You don't need to spend all this money and buy all the things to prove that. Yeah. So that's all. I hope you all have a lovely Valentine's Day, and if you don't want to listen to anything I said, that's fine. But I just hope that you have a wonderful day. And yeah. Okay, thank you so much for watching if you stayed this long. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you soon. Bye!